Hello, everyone. I'm extremely glad to welcome you back to the fourth session of Prep with Parley. We have Anjali, Shandilya, and Tibin Thomas with us today here, and we will be conversing about the Teach for India Fellowship. Anjali holds a master's degree in public policy and governance from Azim Premji University, and she's currently working as a measurement and monitoring associate at Pratam Education Foundation. Tibin holds a master's degree in social work from Rajagiri College of Social Sciences. Firstly, Anjali and Tibin, in that order, what propelled you to apply for the Teach for India Fellowship?
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited. So, just to set the context, I did my fellowship in the year 2016, 2018, one batch. And so, yeah, what pushed me to apply for the fellowship? So, actually, during my bachelor's, I was volunteering with different organizations like Switch Goons in Delhi. And the work was from teaching to supporting some of the campaigns, donation campaigns. And I was also reading a lot of book about the condition of education in India, and which sort of like made me to incline towards the education sector and how we should work on it. And um, at the same time, there were lots of volunteering meetup used to happen, and there were people from the Teach for India at that time, and they would talk about their experiences. They would talk about the whole process with so much excitement and energy, which really made me excited to see what it is about. And when I saw the concept, I found it really interesting, and I thought I should apply for the fellowship. I was convinced enough that this is the right way to actually create the impact which is much more sustainable. So yeah, that was my reason.
Yeah, so in my case, in 2018, actually, I came to know about TFI right after, like, it's 2 years after my graduation. But at that time, I didn't apply for the fellowship because I had a very brief idea. Like, I didn't know what was TFI, what they do, vision, mission, call, nothing. So I didn't apply at that time, even though I knew about TFI. But after that, I joined for post graduation in masters in social work. During the first semester, actually, TFI came to college, and actually they gave us it was an online session. And the online session, they talk about what is TFI, what they do, the vision, mission, everything. So at that time, I just logged into YouTube and watched a lot of TFI videos. So that was my motivation, first motivation. I was so fascinated by all those videos, and I searched. I did a good research on TFI and all the activities and everything. So at that time, I just decided that yeah, this is a path that I can choose from now on. So that's when I applied for the fellowship, and luckily I got in, and here I am now. So that's my journey to the fellowship.
To hear about both of your journeys. Now, Anjali, what are the components of the initial application form?
So it basically starts with something really basic like your personal details, your education, your work experiences. It includes your volunteering as well as your internship experiences. Then the most important part of the essay, according to me, comes, which are about writing your essays. Um, so Tibin, please pitch in if I'm old enough now to talk about it because it was like back in 2015. So maybe they have change the application process a bit. So the essays would be about your leadership qualities. How did you work with where all you have acted as a leader? What were the challenges that were there? Second would be about how do you set your goals and how you deal with those challenges during that time. And these two would be more about your experiences perspective. And the third would be to know how much you are aligned with the Teach for India vision. And to also know what is your long-term vision. So these will be the three sort of essays. One thing that I would really like to mention about the essays question, that they're really nicely structured, as in they explain why they're asking what they're asking. The questions would be aligned with the life situation that you are actually going to have in the field. So, for example, they would begin with some data from the field, and then they would ask you, what do you think about this situation? How do you think you should deal with the situations? So these kind of questions will be there. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, same. While I was applying, the same. It was the same. Application process was the same. We start with the basic, then our experience details and all. Then we go on with the essays. And essays is the important part. The rest of that, actually, TFI never ask you for a CV or a resume. No, they don't ask for that. This is on the application. So only the application, and it's pretty much self-explanatory. You just log into the website, you just check in, It's very self-explanatory, and it's they have given in detail like how you write there, what the things you should focus on. So the application process is actually easy, but it's a big one. It takes some time, to fill, because there are three essays and all. You have to think and write. So that's the only thing. But other than that, it's the same as Anjali shared. It's the same.
Yeah.
I think it's the same.
What were some of the aspects you had to mention in the essay, and how important were these aspects?
Right. So so since these essays are really, really very subjective, it's actually really difficult to point out some really generalized important aspects. They are about your perspectives, your journey, how was your experiences, everything like that. So it's actually a bit difficult for me to understand, to mention certain things that this should be happening there. But having said that, I would explain my thought process and some of my other fellows from my cohort who wrote very good essays. So first of all, I think being honest with your experiences was one of the things that I followed while writing the application, which it really helped me to write some really good essays, because they actually looking for your commitment and honesty, as you're going to deal with the most sensitive group of the community, that is children. So having a very clear understanding of why you want to join the fellowship, and then supporting your why with with some of the evidences from your past would be a very good way to go for the application. And above all, it's a non-competitive process. The application and the Teach for India fellowship process, it's non-competitive in nature. So you don't need to actually show off anything to be better than somebody else. You're free to actually explore and explain the things you want to, like the way you want. And moreover, Ritika, you might would talk about the interviews later, but just to mention here that some part of the interviews would be totally from your application. So as Tibin also mentioned, it's a long process. It would take a lot of time to write your application. I think we should, I mean, like, it gives you a lot of time to reflect on your experiences and then write about it. So I think, yeah.
Yeah. So adding on to Anjali,
Add on,
just
please.
add on. Yeah, you are going to add something, or
No, if you want to add on, Tibin, go ahead.
yeah, just something. I just Anjali almost covered everything. So only just one thing is like in the essays, we just have to focus on mainly focus on your leadership experience that you had in the previous years. Whatever it is, maybe in school, maybe in college, especially they'll be asking the very relevant ones, the very relevant leadership experiences. You need to be a graduate, you need minimum graduation to apply for the fellowship. So if you are a graduate, please mention your experience during a graduate level. If you are working, then do write the experience you while you're working. And graduation, it will be perfect. Or if you're a postgraduate, go for post graduation. And one thing is, be generous. Sorry, be genuine when you write the essays. Completely, don't make things up in an essay. See, for the sake of getting in, don't write anything up. You will be writing your own experiences. It's very important that you must be genuine in every aspect, because they will be asking every point. They'll be checking your application thoroughly. They'll be checking thoroughly, and they'll be asking about it in the interview time and during the telephonic interview time also. So very important. Don't make anything up. Just write what you experienced. Just write your leadership qualities. That's all.
Right. Okay. So I understand that there is a 1 hour online test based on situational judgment and also English language skills. So Tibin, can you tell us how you prepared for this?
Actually, I haven't prepared for that, because since I already did some train, like I joined for post graduation 1 year. I prepare for SSC exams, like central government exams and all. So I had a brief idea on how the course, like I already had a brief idea on how the questions will be, and also I didn't make a lot of preparation for that, but there'll be some model questions that you will get. Okay, some 2-3 model questions will be there. So I just went on I just checked two, three questions before I took the test. And the test is actually not so hard and all. It's a very basic, simple test that you can attend, since it's English and all. Mostly, reading comprehension questions will be there. Basic grammar questions will be there, and some analysis assessment questions will be there. But actually it's not so hard to crack in. If you're a graduate, it's very easy for you to go on with the test and crack it. The test is not a big problem. You should just I will say focus on the essay part. Essay part is very, very important, and the test you can actually, if you are a graduate, it's easy for you.
I think I agree with what Tibin said, but just to add to it, I also think like before giving to test, maybe trying one or two sample paper before doing the test for maintain that speed during the exam, because when the clock is ticking, you are just nervous at times. So I would suggest to at least attempt one paper before going to the test. But yeah, test is quite easy to do. It's not really, it tests your basic aptitudes. So that way it is easy, but I would suggest to just have one quick test to maintain the speed in your test during the test. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So next, Tibin, can you tell us a little bit about the assessment center and the selection process there?
In the assessment center is the longest process. It's a 4 hour format. It was around 4.5 hours, because my interview was like my personal interview took 1.5 hours. So especially in usually we start with an assessment center. We start with the group activity. We just introduce ourselves. Group activity will be there. Some group discussions also will happen during the assessment. In my assessment center, some group activity, group discussion were there, and after that, usually there's a test. Okay, after it can change according to person, because according to the people who are assessing you, there will be change. Like maybe first you will be the group activity will be the same, and after that maybe you will have interview first, or maybe you will have your test first. So the test is around 20 minutes of time. 16 questions will be 16, 17 questions will be there. That test is not that easy as the first one, because it will be like more of some data points. Some data will be given for you. Some data will be given. You have to analyze it, and questions will be completely related to all the questions will be completely related to the data that is given to you. So you have to analyze it and you have to answer accordingly. So it's a 20 minutes of time, 60 questions. Not so I won't say it's an easy one. Yeah, it can, your brain will be have to work during that time. Especially you're in an interview process, and time like you have to be very, very conscious about the time. 20 minutes of time. Yeah, and interview time, personal interview time, it's more like they'll be asking you, no general questions won't be there. Completely the questions will be completely based on your experience, what are things you given in the your application. Okay, all the questions will be completely related to the application, the essay that you wrote, everything will be from there. So the interview process also, there are some stages are there, some role plays will be there. It is according to according to the interviewers. Maybe one interviewer will be there, maybe for you two three will be there. So it's all it can change. So that's how the structure is, but the basic structure is this. Start with the group activity, then the test, then the person interview part. Yeah, that's it.
Anjali, how did you prepare yourself mentally for the hour-long personal interview?
Yeah. Actually, it does sound a bit scary to have an hour-long interview, and especially when you are a fresher, because I was really scared that time. Same happened with me. I was quite nervous when I reached the center, but people were just so welcoming over there, and they would make you really, really comfortable. So just to give an example, I remember during this lesson plan execution activity, one of the girl, she wrote a long spelling of a word on the blackboard, on the whiteboard, and the panelists, the interviewers, they were quite generous to actually point that out, that we want to correct it. They pushed her to correct it and go beyond it, which I think was a very generous activity to do while being in an interview. Um, and also, moreover, you would be spending the whole day before your final interview at the center. Uh, so you get into that flow, because you see all the panelists, you talk to them, you talk to other candidates, so you just like get into that flow. Initially it will be nervous and it will be like little bit challenging, but later, till you reach to the final stage, you will be completely okay. um, Nonetheless, it's a thorough process. You have to be fully prepared, read your application, essays, and think again and again about your reason to be in the classroom. So I think that way you can be a very good prepared for that. Yeah.
Okay, so Tibin, what were the kind of questions you had to face during the interview?
So as I already shared, so in the personal interview part, all the questions that they'll be asking you from the application that you give. Okay. So especially like they will do a check before there is a telephonic interview part. Usually, some people don't have this telephonic interview because three of us applied together. Only two of us had telephonic interview. One person he didn't have. He was directly selected to the assessment center. So this happens when because when they go through an application, if they have any doubts or if they need any clarification, they will do the telephonic interview part. So in the telephonic interview part, they'll be clarifying, they'll be going through the application, they'll be clarifying the doubts and all. It's just like a doubt clearing part, and they're doing some questions like something like some assessment questions will also be in the telephonic interview, even though mostly it's for clarifying the confusions and all. And in the main interview, the same this is the same process in the main interview also. Even though it's personal, even though it's face to face in person means even though it's an interview, all the questions they'll be asking you based on your application, based on your video, like the submitted video, based on the essays that you've written, your experiences. They'll ask you to explain it a bit more. They'll push you in the interview process. They'll be pushing you more to think about it. You have to think a lot of thinking, a lot of reflection happens during the interview part. Like it's not like any other job interview. It's all reflection. Think again. They ask you think again, and the one important question that you can always get prepared for is that the changes that you'll be making. They'll be asking you repeatedly. What all changes that you can make. How if you get another chance, how will you make it better? So these are some basic questions that usually in the interview process. So the interview is based on you, as you as a person, you as a leader, your qualification, your skills and everything. It's completely focused on you. Don't think that this is a general question should be there. This is the usual interview process. It's nice. They are so, as Anjali shared, they're so welcoming. They'll make you comfortable. They'll throughout the process they'll make sure that you don't feel uncomfortable or something like that. They will make sure that you till the end of the process you're okay and you're doing fine and everything. So it's really nice to attend the interview.
Even in addition to that, I think Tibin has already covered everything. Just one thing to add. The from the aptitude test that you have before the interview, we actually ask questions from that also, like why you have chosen what you have chosen. It's an MCQ based test. So they would ask you, okay, if you have selected option A, why is so? If you would, and they will like talk you through about it. Then they would ask you again if you want to change your option, then what is the reason. It's more like they make you actually think a lot, as Tibin also pointed out. And if they are not convinced, or if they think that you have not answered your question, they would actually ask the same question again and again. That is one thing that I realized. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tibin, but they would actually ask the same question again till the time they are not getting the answer for it. So yeah, you cannot just like blabber around. You have to be consciously thinking and answering things.
Right. Okay. So next, Anjali, how was your experience teaching children?
Okay. So you ask this question to any fellow, they will be out of words, because it's more like a feeling than an experience. You live in that journey. You are in a classroom for 2 years, which is a lot of time, and you mentor around like 50 kids at minimum. You come out of your comfort zone every day in one way or another while teaching your children, while being in the community. You see them growing every day for 2 years with you without even realizing that. So for example, my children are now in 8th grade, and I taught them in 3rd grade. So it's a great feeling. It's a proud moment. It's definitely a lifetime experience one can have while being in the classroom. Being in a classroom, it does not only develop you professionally, but also on personal level. And with respect to teaching in the classroom, it was a difficult process initially, but TFI does provide you training before the program starts. It's a long 2 months, almost 2 months support system, and even your first year of fellowship, you get the sessions to attend content-based training, classroom management training, and everything. Your manager also supports you a lot by the period of 2-3 months. I think you are able to manage your class pretty well. So at least if no, your children will start listening to you. They will sit in the classroom. They will at least focus what you are doing, what you are teaching. So maybe for some time it will be a challenge, because handling kids is not as easy as it looks. But when you get into the fields, you get the support from the city team. It becomes easy. It becomes okay. Yeah.
Tibin, would you like to add on something to that?
Actually, my training just got over the last day. So we already started teaching children. So we already got our classes, schools, and everything is set. So it's been around 3 to 4 weeks that we have. Yeah, teaching is nice actually. But if you ask me the present situation, it's an online mode, and you know how it is. Okay, even it's very hard to teach college children in a Zoom meeting or Google Meet or whatever it is. It's really tough. Yeah, so there are a lot of challenges out there right now. Lots of, since I think your next question is on challenges. So my experience with teaching children, it has its benefits, it has its pros and cons. Maybe it's an ups and downs are there. One thing you can see, maybe after you finish a class, after you go into the community, meet these children, you get the experience like sir, this is children saying like, "No, sir, your class." See, children will say to you, personally, they will text you whatever they say. "Sir, your class was super, sir. This class was amazing, sir. It was good." And sometimes children say, "Sir, I'm getting bored, sir." These things happen. Some children will be naughty in the online class. They'll be making noises and all. They'll be disturbing the class. So it can, it's a simple things, but it can affect you very very badly, because it's a new experience for you to also, teaching children in an online mode. It's new for children to, some days are very, like, some days children will be very active, very participating. The attendance will be very high. Yes, that days you will be very happy. In some days the attendance will be, from 15 to 20, it will go down to 4 to 5 children. At that days and all, you'll feel like, what happened, what is going wrong, and am I doing something wrong? You'll also face that kinds of questions also. So yeah, it's as CFA always says, this is a roller coaster journey. There is ups, there is down. So someday you are on a, cloud nine, someday you go down. Yeah, so that's how the experience so far. Okay, I don't know, I have two years like ahead of.
Even just imagine having all these things like in person also. Like they would do the same thing when you are actually in the classroom. So it's same, I think, offline or online. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I think with respect to the challenges also, there were lots of, you must be also feeling there are also lots of school level challenges with respect to your school management, with respect to your parents, with respect to your community. Um, I think those are also going to come in when your class teacher would not give you much time to teach and all. Um, but I understand. But I see like with how the challenges of offline medium is also like coming up during the online medium for you as well. So yeah, yeah.
So finally, Anjali and Tibin, in that order, can you tell our audience how they can prepare themselves to apply for the fellowship this year?
So as Tibin started with talking about how he saw lots of videos of the classroom, I would also recommend and suggest everyone to definitely see so many videos of to get the deeper perspective about what and how the fellowship works, and how the how people stay in the classroom, how they go in the community, what are the different components of fellowship. It is much beyond just being in the classroom. um, how do you impact the community as well. So these are the aspects that you can see through some of the YouTube videos. They are there. And secondly, there are lots of webinars and meetups arranged by the Teach for India when they open applications also. So I would also suggest to attend them, because the recruitment person over there are really approachable. They would suggest you, they would give you good ideas how to go about your application, what the assessment center would look like. They would actually give you a very fair picture of everything. So these are the things I would suggest that gave me clarity. I think others can also do it.
To all people out there, who wants to apply for the fellowship, I just want to say this: if you really believe that this is your path in your heart, if you really believe that this is your path, go for it. Apply. You will get selected. Okay, if you really believe in yourself and all. To those people who wants to apply, since it's a job, maybe you think that it's a job, so I could apply for it. Please don't go for it. This is not a job. This is a fellowship, and this is a rigorous, one of the most rigorous fellowship in India, and this is not going to be easy. First thing I'm going to say to you, this is not going to be easy. You get in, lot of challenges will be in your way, lots of challenges will be in your way. You have to be strong enough to face them. Okay, this it can affect you, emotionally. This can affect you mentally. It can affect your personal life. Everything will be affected, but even though this can change you, a lot of changes can be the 3 months. What's I can say this 3 months was so transformational. This is a transformational fellowship that can transform you into better human beings. Okay, a better citizen. You are also transforming your children. Okay, you are transforming a community, you are transforming India. Okay, so three important aspects here. Okay, you are it's completely, one thing is your transformation, your journey. One thing is the journey of your children, transformation of children, and one thing is the transformation of India. Okay, so you have to be prepared for this. This is not a don't think that this is just a job. It's not a job. If you really want to apply, be prepared to accept, be prepared to face all these challenges, and be prepared to find solutions also. Okay, so you're becoming a leader. You are going to a community, and you are going to be a leader. You are going to lead a group of people, a group of children and all. So be prepared. I'm saying be prepared for this. I can see a lot of people after coming here, finding out that this was not their path. People leave during this. After 2 3 months, they find out that this is not my journey and all. Rather than that, I can say, if you really believe in you, if you really believe that you want to do something for the people, for these children, for the community, for India, just join the fellowship, make the differences, give something to them. Okay, so that's all I want to say. Everyone out there, but this is a great opportunity for you. It's great, amazing opportunity for you. After you finish, I can one thing I'm sure is that after you finish the fellowship, again Anjali can provide you more insights on that. After you finish the fellowship, there is a whole world in front of you with the ocean of opportunities out there. I believe what I'm saying is true, Anjali. You can add on to that.
Yes, I would agree to that actually. TFI actually makes you to enter into that network where you meet lots of people, where you get to see the life journey of lots of people who have been working in the development sector and affecting lots of lives. Um, and some might be in the research field, some might be working on the implementation level, some might be working directly with the children, communities, and so on and so forth. You get into that network, it's easy. And I, from my personal experience, I haven't heard from any of my alumni or my people who came after me to not to talk if I have reached out to them. They would always be welcoming, they would always ready for the discussions to help each other out. So I think it gives you that kind of network. And Teach for India is like a really, it's getting old now, it's an old organization. So I mean, um, there are multiple cohorts. There are lots of people who are working in the field with the government or with the local government as well. So I think it opens up the lots of opportunity for you to explore and figure out what you want to do. You want to study or you want to work. So yeah, that's true. That's true. I totally agree to it.
I'm sure today our audience had a lot to benefit from both of your insights. So thank you so much, Anjali and Tibin, for accepting our invitation and being here with us.